I'm Steve, back here in the QA1 garage with another local build with Ricky.
How you doing,
and
Steve?
His
86 Chevy Caprice.
86 Chevy Caprice. Now, the first thing you're probably noticing, would be my guess, is the big wheels. And the big wheel cars are coming up everywhere. They are popping up everywhere.
Yes, they are.
Now, when I first saw the big wheel cars, I thought, this might be a regional thing, might be down south, Georgia, Florida, Texas, that type of thing, but they're even going on up here in Minnesota, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These cars, we've been riding big rims for the, 15, 20 years now. You know, first it started out with 20s and it just grew up from there.
Yeah.
And now we're doing more custom work to our cars versus just putting big rims on them.
And there's a couple different models that you'll see the big wheels on. Now, someone new to the game, the big wheel game, they might just think everything's called a donk because it's got the big wheels.
Oh, no. Just because it has the big wheels doesn't mean it's a donk. A donk is a Chevy Caprice or Impala, 71 through 76.
That's right. And then you've got the boxes, like
Yep.
this one. And then you've got the bubbles.
Yep.
The G bodies are coming out with 24s, sometimes 26s.
Yes.
So when did you get this one, and tell me the story about how that came about?
I bought this car in 2003, and I couldn't find one that was in good shape in the state of Minnesota. So I ended up finding one out of St. Louis, Missouri. This is the one I found. And I ended up going down there and get it. What a funny story. The guy, when I made it there, the guy rattle canned the whole car, blue.
Rattle can.
Spray painted with a can of spray.
So you've done quite a bit of work since you got this.
Oh, yes.
With the paint,
Yes.
the wheels, the suspension.
Yes.
Was the intention always to run the big wheels?
At first, that was the reason. But then I was racing my other Caprice, and when I went and got this one, I was going to put this on bigger rims, which hence I ended up with the 28s. The first thing I started with when I got the car was the motor. You know, you can spend so much time on paint and body work, but you got to deal with the motor. If you take the motor out, you run the risk of scratching, chipping, doing damage to the paint. So my common sense hit me, was like, hey, let's build me a motor first. So this is the motor that's in here is a big block 427. This is the second motor. The first motor was a small block 400. And I raced with the 400, but I decided to go to a bigger motor, so I went to a big block 427.
Well, that's one of the cool things that I like about the big wheel car culture, if you will. You have the show guys, you have the street guys that just ride, and then you have the race guys, the drag racing guys, and it's their own segment of drag racing on big wheels, and it's kind of an equalizer, if you will. You know, back in the day, the drag racing was whoever had the most money won, and then you started to see things like the small tire, the no prep, the limiting factors that helped equalize everyone so everybody could go out, be competitive, and have a good time. Tell me what you've got going on for suspension, or tell the folks that don't know.
Well, I contacted you guys, and I ended up doing front coilovers and shocks on the front, and adjustable trailing arms on the rear, top and bottom, and rear coilovers on the rear, and front A-arms, upper and lower on left and right. And the next thing is changing out my sway bar. I haven't did that yet because I want to see how it rides and how it handles with the way it is.
Yep. And I mean, putting the big wheels on these cars, you know, there's a couple little changes that we like to do. Just so, I mean, you've got a huge wheel you're trying to fit into that wheel well, and you want it to be exactly where it needs to be. And so things like those adjustable lower trailing arms really help that
Helped out a lot.
Tell me about the wheels. Everybody wants to know about the wheels always.
The wheels are 28 by 10, and they're dub sway. They're the off-brand of the spinner, dub floater rims everybody's particular with. I could buy some floater pieces and just put the floaters on. But I liked the rim itself because it gave the car to me a little bit more character.
Tell me about the modifications, if any, behind the or starting it behind the engine, where we're supporting the amount of weight, possibly the drivetrain. I don't know what more stress the large wheels put on the drivetrain when you're racing these.
Yes, it does. The rear differential tends to bend. When you're running these rims and you're putting a lot of torque down, your differential tends to flex because your wheels are biting and fighting the G-forces that's coming from your transmission. So the next thing is you have to beef up the rear end. You can beef up the motor, which I did, and then I beefed up the transmission. I'm running TH350 with a 3500 stall, and in the back I'm be running 456 gears with a posi, because you have to take account of the ratio.
That big wheel.
Exactly. This rear end is in here. I got solid axles, 31 spline axles in it with C-clip eliminators, posi with 456 gears.
Yeah, QA1 coilovers out back and the adjustable trailing arms. It looks like that wheel's sitting just perfect in that wheel well.
That it is.
How did you get into cars? Where did that come from?
Came from my dad, 68 Camaro Ratley Sport SS. He took me for a ride as a little kid, and you know the bar that's right in front of the glove box, he took me and punched it. And I'm holding on like a little kid, And it was, ever since then, I've been around my dad and my uncles.
You know, we've been working on some of the big wheel stuff here at QA1, and I hear from some of the coworkers in the office, you know, these cars are starting to grow on me. Guys that wouldn't normally be into the big wheel stuff, they're truck guys or whatever they are. And I think I've got it figured out. So as kids, we were all young, we had our toy cars and the Hot Wheels.
The Hot Wheels, yes.
This is essentially your life-size Hot Wheels. And
Pretty much.
It's what we all wanted. And so you see the trucks, you see trucks with the big wheels. I mean, you see all sorts of things with big wheels. And it's, for me anyway, I think that is probably the connection as these cars grow and grow and grow, is we all just wanted a life-size Hot Wheel. So you've got a custom license plate on here. It either says Cool Whip or it's Cool Wheel Horsepower.
It's called Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
So that's another big thing with the big wheel cars, is you have to have a name for the car, right?
Yes, you do. Everybody call their cars what they feel that their car is. My car, to me, is a Cool Whip, and I drive it fast. So I enjoy this car, and that's why I call it, it's a Cool Whip. Doesn't matter if it's big rims or small rims, race car or slow car. If you love cars, you love cars.
Well, Ricky, thanks for showing me around this car. It looks like an awesome build, and I mean, this is my favorite part of the video. Are we able to go drive it?
Yeah, here. Keys, let's go take it for a drive. You drive.
I'm gonna drive it?
You drive.
All right, now I'm having fun.
Yes, we're gonna have fun.
Let's go. I wasn't sure how big wheel cars gonna ride with the little tiny tires, but man, this thing's smooth. How many big wheel cars do you have?
I got a total of 3.
It really is like your own, real life Hot Wheels.
Yes, it is.
I love it.